Alrighty, guys. Saying alrighty, guys, but there's not going to be anyone in this live. This is my first time. Um, sorry, I'm thirsty. This is my first time ever going live on YouTube, so I don't expect anybody to be in here. I honestly just really wanted to upload a YouTube video, but I didn't feel like the responsibility of having to edit the YouTube video and all that good stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just go live on YouTube and just talk to people and upload it as if it's a video. I am extremely late on my uploads. I missed 2 Sundays and I'm tired sometimes, guys. I'm really tired, but I do want to get back to vlogging. I've been saying that for a very long time, and today I was talking to somebody and I was just talking to them. They were telling me like, oh, you should vlog, you should vlog, you should vlog. And I'm like, it's so crazy because I don't vlog like I used to. I used to do like 2 videos a week, maybe even 3 sometimes when I like I would say the first 2 to 3 years that I moved to LA. People talk to me about vlogging as if it's like something that like I've never done. Like they're, like they're telling me something new, and I don't say anything. I just like listen or whatever. And because I always like to hear from the outside looking in, like what people think they need to see me doing, or like what they need from me, or like just ear to the streets type of thing or whatever. So I was listening, and the person was telling me, and I get this all the time, like, you should vlog, you should vlog, you should vlog. And I'm like, man, that's so crazy because like I do vlog. I just haven't vlogged. And I started thinking about like when around the time it was that I like stopped, like when I got consistent and when it became such a hard thing for me to push through at doing. Because for a really long time, I mean, and even now with like, I pull my camera out and record everything. I don't rush to post a lot of stuff. And I also, a lot of times I'll be like, oh, I'm vlogging this experience. I'll vlog it fully through, but then I'll never upload it. And I think the turning point for me was when I was documenting my mom's cancer journey. But before we even knew it was cancer, I was documenting my mom's journey with like her having strokes. And I remember like, so in the beginning, I told my mom like, I want to record everything. Just because we were having some issues with like getting answers to certain questions and all that type of stuff. But also too, I was just really scared. I didn't know what was going to happen. And I remember telling myself, like, it's so hard to think about now, but I remember telling myself, like, if these are like our last moments together, I'm not gonna mess up my makeup. I'm about to take the makeup off, but I'm not gonna mess it up. I just remember saying, like, if it to myself, I didn't tell her this because I didn't want to scare her. And this is before, again, the word cancer was even mentioned. And my mom is fine now. My mom is a cancer survivor. She is doing amazing. God is good. But I had never even seen my mom with a cold, right? So to go from that to, I flew home from LA because a friend of my mom's, her daughter called me and said, yo, did you know your mom woke up today and couldn't move her left side? And my mom had told me that she thought she had a stroke, but I thought she was just kind of being a little dramatic because I'm like, how do you have a stroke and you're like driving, you know what I mean? Everything was normal for a while. And then one day she woke up and couldn't move one of her sides. So that like really freaked me out. So I flew home from LA because she wouldn't go to the doctor by herself. She was scared. And she was scared because she had been going to a few doctors because she kept saying her head felt cloudy. She had been going to a few doctors, but she didn't feel like she's been treated well. So I was like, you know what? I had already planned. The crazy thing is the week that I got that call, there was a holiday coming up. I want to say it was like, it might have been like Thanksgiving. Thank you guys that are joining the live now. This is my first time going live on YouTube, so share it with a friend. I am going to look at some of the comments, but let me get closer so I can see them. The text on YouTube is so small. But that next week, like literally the end of that week, I plan to go home to Delaware anyway and be home for a bit. And we were going to do like, I was going to go to the doctors with her, kind of just get more into what she was telling me about. And then I got that call, so I had to drop everything way faster than I expected and just go. And originally we were just documenting just because we wanted to share the story of like my mom feeling as if, not even feeling, but my mom experiencing not getting the proper help medically that she deserved and needed. And then it went from that to like, man, like, what if like something is seriously wrong and these are like the last, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to have memories type of thing. So I was documenting everything. I would pick and choose what I would put out. And then it got to the point where, because it was scary, man, like it was really scary. It got to a point where when I would put things out, like we would go through something. So it would be, either my mom would have another stroke, or we'd be in the hospital. The doctors would be talking crazy. They couldn't figure out what was going on. I'm off work. I'm stressed out. I'm not sleeping. I'm not eating. I'm not nothing. But I'm vlogging the whole time. I'm recording. I'm documenting the whole time. And I would put up the videos, and literally, like, and at the time I put up the videos, I would wait until it was something we got through. So like, like whatever it was that we were going through in the hospital, at that time, I'd be like, all right, when we get through this, then I'll release the video, because I just didn't know. And people would call me and like, just out of good intention, they would call me just to check in on this, or they would call my mom. They would, just little stuff like that. And it would make me get upset all over again, as if it was just happening. It would do the same for my mom. And it got to a point where my mom asked me to stop recording certain things, because it picked, like, so many people were, like, it was even people we didn't know that were reaching out to me, sending me doctor recommendations. They were sending my mom, like, therapy tools, like different massage things, like just so much stuff, because so many Black women were resonating with her story of just like fighting for her life, like her versus the hospital medical system, right? And I got so drained during that time. Like, I remember one day I couldn't even get on Instagram. I was just like, I don't even have the mental capacity to think through looking at people doing a bunch of stuff on the timeline. And I just was like, you know what, I'm putting it all down. I don't care about YouTube. I don't care about nothing. And this was after we found out that cancer was in the conversation, which my mom was doing good. You know what I mean? She came out of the treatment strong. And cancer she is great. God is good. Everything is shrunk. She's good. But I was just like, yeah, man, I need a break. Like, I just want to get away from the world and just like, I don't know. Because you can't, during something like that, you can't even think. Like, it's just like, you're just, like, imagine if you're just sitting somewhere, like, staring into a daze. That's literally how you feel every day. Like, every single day I was getting up, getting dressed, going to the hospital. Or I would wake up in the hospital with her. And I was still working, but I know I probably was messing up at work. I was still working, but I was working from New York. TMZ had allowed me to continue to work from the hospital, and then I ended up having to take a leave from that. But it was tough. And I think I took a good amount of time, maybe like a month off of Instagram, and maybe like 2 months, 3 months maybe, from vlogging and like uploading stuff on YouTube. And ever since then, it's just been rough for me to kind of like get back into it. So this was the hey guys, thank you so much. This was me sitting here right now doing this live. I was like, if I'm going to upload a vlog, this is how I have to do it, because if I got to go through all the editing and stuff, it's probably not going to get up. And if I'm going to record it, I want to put it out. So here we are. That was 7 minutes of a story to explain to you guys why we are live right now on YouTube. For everybody that is just tuning in, I'm Loren LoRosa. Welcome back to my channel. If you are a subscriber, if you're new here, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming. Everybody, subscriber or new people to the chat, tell a friend to tell a friend. A brown girl is on her grind and you want to stay locked into the journey. I came here specifically to talk about being a journalist without a journalism degree. And the reason, let me turn on my light, hold on, because the sun is starting to go down now. And the reason I wanted to talk about that, not because I want to promote journalists or people who, drop these stories, get online, get on TikTok, wherever, and kind of like saturate news and well vetted and sourced information. I don't want to promote that at all. Like, that is not what I'm about. But I did, want to come on here and just talk for a quick second just about my journey and how I got to where I am, because I think the way into the industry that I work in is very non-conventional. And I want people to understand that, like, there's really no like rhyme or rhythm to it. It's like you really just get out there and start getting busy. You meet people, you build relationships, and you're repetitive at all of these different things until it begins to work out. And then once it works out on one level, it just like continues to go up and up and up. So my name is Loren LoRosa, as I said earlier. I went to Delaware State University. You guys are in the comments. Someone say, hey girl, love you on the Breakfast Club. You're doing your thing. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't even know what that's about. But yeah, so I went to Delaware State University. When I first of all, I did not want to go to Delaware State University. I had a mentor who was really big on just us going to HBCUs anyway. Shout out to Miss Lori Hayes. But I applied for both HBCUs and PWIs. Because I'm from Delaware, wanted to get out of Delaware. Delaware State University at the time when I was in high school had the reputation as the 13th grade. I literally remember people saying to me, don't go to the 13th grade. And they were talking about Delaware State. And I was just like, yo, I got to get out of here. During high school, I did a lot of different things. I would host fashion shows. I would participate in fashion shows. I was modeling. I was back and forth to New York casting, trying to get an agent, modeling up here as well too. I was producing fashion shows. I was doing pageants. I was acting. I was doing everything. My mom had me in, she always kept us pretty active. My mom had me in piano, drum. I was dancing. I was doing more acting outside of, I was doing acting in school, but I was in a theater program in Delaware as well too. So and my family has just always been kind of based in like, just like I have people in my family that have done entertainment stuff. So I've been around it a lot. So I just always remember being like, in order for me to, because modeling was my thing. I'm like, I want to become a model. I'll do everything after. I'll act after that. I'll do all that other stuff after that. I really just need to model. If I don't model, the world is over. That's how I thought anyway. I'm about to go get a light, so I'm about to take this with me. So I was doing all this different stuff, and I figured like if I got out of Delaware, the sooner the better, because it would make it where my career was able to take off. Because most people, when I meet them, and even y'all on this YouTube video, will be like, if you're not from Delaware, you're probably gonna be like, where is Delaware? So I always felt like because people could say that about us, that nothing would take off there. So I was always in New York a lot. So my goal was to graduate from high school. And once I graduated from high school, I wanted to move to New York. I wanted to become a model, move to New York. I found out about model houses because I was going on a lot of go-sees. Go-sees are where you just basically like dress plain as heck, natural makeup, no lashes, no nothing. And you just go and you let brands, like clothing brands and casting agencies just look at you. Like, and you're trying to get jobs. It's like auditioning. It's auditioning for a model. I would go to a bunch of go-sees. I'll make it far on a lot of stuff, but I would never, like, the brands would be like, your boobs are too big. Your lips are too big. I literally was told one time my lips were too big. That they wanted girls that disappeared on the runway, and I had too much personality. My features had too much personality, and my boobs were too big. So I used to hear that a lot, and I was just like, okay, like, I need another plan. And then this was before influencers were on the runway, and like people who weren't bone thin, they used to call it heroin white. They like heroin white, bone thin girls. That was all that was on the runway, right? So I'm like, bro, this ain't gonna work. So I began to apply to different schools. I applied to John Jay College of Criminal Justice. I applied to Columbia. I applied to, where I applied in Columbia? I think it was just like I don't think that was like a college. I think that was just like some sort of like you go live for a while. Like I was just trying to go live my life somewhere. If I couldn't come to New York, I applied for Brown University. HBCU wise, I applied for Del State. I applied for UMES because me and one of my best friends were gonna go there together. She actually went. I didn't. I applied for, what other HBCU? Was it only Del State and UMES that I applied for? I knew about Howard, but I think I didn't apply because I just had always heard it was really expensive. and I didn't want to try to afford something I couldn't go to. I actually think I did apply to Clark Atlanta, but I knew I wasn't going there because I was scared I wasn't going to be able to afford it. And I applied to Spelman as well too. I applied to Virginia State University. I applied to Old Dominion. I almost applied to Norfolk because I had another friend that was there, but I changed my mind. I didn't really want to. If I went down south, I think Virginia, I only wanted to go to Virginia State because of College Hill. The show College Hill, I Googled it and found out that that's where they were at. And then other than that, I was trying to go to like Atlanta. I went to a college tour and I was on the promenade at Clark Atlanta and I saw like all the Greeks and all of that stuff. I'm like, oh, it's lit down here. But yeah, so I was applying to these colleges, but my goal was to move to a model house. So I remember having a conversation with my mom, and she was just basically like, look, if you go to, because my mom didn't go to college. So I'm the first person in my immediate family to go to college and to graduate from college. And I remember my mom being like, look, if you want to go live in New York, oh, I applied to NYU too. My mom was like, if you want to go live in New York, the best way to do it is become a student. My mom had went to FIT for a program or two for a bit, like for like a semester. She wasn't fully enrolled. She was just there for a program. So I also knew about FIT too, but I didn't think I had a strong enough portfolio to apply to FIT as a designer because I did. Even now, like we have our merch or whatever that I design, but my mom was a designer. So that was always something that I was super interested in. And I was like, I want to do it, but I'm like, do I really want to go to college for that? Should that be my main thing? I'm looking at FIT and I looked at the requirements. They talking about submit a portfolio. I'm like, I don't even have a portfolio of sketches strong enough to get me an FIT. And I didn't know that FIT had a business program until I was already in college and I tried to transfer over. So anyway, I say all that to say, I'm doing all this while really not even wanting to go to college. And my mom was like, bro, if you apply for college in New York and get into college in New York, that'll help pay for your housing there. And I was like, okay. And then she was also like, you don't have a choice. Like, you have to go to you ain't gotta go to like, the biggest of schools, but you gotta get out of here. Like, you gotta get out of this house. You gotta do something. So I was at high school. I was in high school. I was at school one day and we had like a little college fair at my school. And it was in our lunchroom. So like I was there because we had to eat lunch. So I seen the schools. It was like Morgan State, Delaware State. I think it was one more. I think it was Coppin State. Those were the three schools that came. Mind y'all, I didn't know much about HBCUs at the time, and it wasn't like popular like how it is now. Like I had heard about it and I knew of them. Like I kind of knew what they were, and I knew of like the Greeks and stuff. But mostly what I learned about that was from my mentor in high school. Like hearing about her Greek. She was a Delta. Hearing about her, or she is a Delta. Hearing about her Greek experience and stuff like that. So I didn't really know too much, and a little bit of stuff that I heard from my family and from watching TV. So A Different World, College Hill, like that was my education on HBCUs. I had no idea there was so many HBCUs like I know now, and like I knew after I got accepted to Del State. Like it was already too late for me to apply. I went to some college tours, but those schools were so far and in the middle. Like we went to like Alabama. We went to school in Alabama. I think it was Alabama A&M. I'm like, I'm not a, I'm not a, I literally I couldn't fathom being in Alabama because I'm like, how am I going to model there? How am I going to work at television there? Like television. How am I going to work at television there? Like, I literally told myself, Loren, that makes no sense. You can't go to a place like that. Like you have to go somewhere where the industry can find you. So I'm like, all right, look. I went downstairs to the college fair because my mentor was bugging me. She like, if you don't apply for nothing, just apply to Del State. Just in case, just to have a backup. I'm like, okay. So I applied to Del State, got accepted on the spot. They're like, oh, your grades are amazing. I graduated top 15 in my high school class. So I had really good grades. So they're like, your grades are amazing. We should have some scholarship info for you. Make sure you apply for FAFSA. This is when the Obama Pell Grant stuff was like, when Obama Pell Grant stuff kicked in, man, like I got so much money to go to college. So all that stuff came later, and I was seeing it, but I was putting it to the side. Then Temple was the school I really, really wanted to go to. It was Temple, NYU, and Virginia State. I had on my back burner, the only HBCU I really, really was like stuck on, it was Clark Atlanta and Spelman. And again, it was because they were so talked about. Howard was too, but I kind of was like, this is too close to home. And I don't know why I thought I could afford Spelman or Clark, but couldn't afford Howard University. Anyway, so I remember I applied to all these schools. I got accepted at Del State on the spot that day. A few months later, senior year comes and I'm starting to get my letters back. I got accepted into almost like all the schools I applied for. Like even one of the Ivy Leagues, I think it was Brown, they were interested in me. I had to go through another round of essays though. And I think by that time I had decided like, I don't know if I want to go to an Ivy League school because it's going to be extremely tough. And I really just want to get in school and get out. I'm just using this to buy time until I figure out my career in entertainment. So I never finished that other round of like, I forget what it was that they were at. I think it was something where they would have been able to qualify me for probably like a scholarship program or some sort. I didn't go through with it, so I don't even remember. But Temple University sent me the letter accepting me and telling me how much money they were going to give me. Y'all, Temple University wanted to give me $2,400. Not $24,000, like $2,400. I was going to do either their mass comm program, which was a really great program, or their law program. Both of those programs alone were like minimum like $35,000 per semester. And I'm looking at 4 semesters for 4 years. And they wanted to give me $2,400 a year. I was like, it is no way in hell I'm going to this school. Like, again, I'm telling y'all, I'm first generation college student at the time. Well, first generation college student. And I'm like, how am I even going to figure this out? Like, in my mind, I'm thinking, even with FAFSA, this is going to be almost impossible. And I'm going to have to, like, work all these jobs just to get through school. I'm not trying to do that. I barely wanted to go to college. I really was just like, I just need to get in, get out. No one in my immediate family has done it, so I need to do it for that reason. It'll buy me time while I figure out my career, entertainment, and fashion. And my mom put this idea in my head, like, yo, wherever you go to college at, you can live at. And your scholarships and all that will pay for it. So I'm trying to, like, just finesse something that's going to get me close to New York, right? Whether I'm going to Philly, because I can get on a bus real quick and come to New York, which I was already doing in high school. Or I'm coming up here to NYU. John Jay, something like that, right? Yo, let me tell y'all how that summer of my senior year, I had so much fun. And I knew I got into Del State. I didn't really have a plan. I think I was trying to figure out the money for Temple for a while. But I was still going through with all the Del State stuff. Like, I was like, all right, this is my backup plan. And I remember the letter came in the mail that Del State offered me a full academic scholarship. I was like, damn, now I gotta go here. But I didn't say anything. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell anybody because I'm like, if I mention that, they're gonna make me go there. But my mom honestly was one of the people that was like, you don't need to go to school in Delaware. If you go to school in Delaware, it's gonna be hard for you to make it. Like, no, I will. My mom was riding. Like, she was like, I will sign for any loan I have to. I'll do whatever I have to do. You need to be in New York. Fast forward, I ended up on campus for orientation at Delaware State University. The first day of orientation, I said, oh, I'm going here. Pack me up. I'm coming. I need to be at a HBCU. Campus is lit. HBCU life is lit. I saw people hosting live events. I got to school, and it was a boy named AD. I tell AD this all the time. He was one of the first people I saw. Him and a guy named Blake the Brain, hosting live events on campus. And I'm like, wait, they on the stage, they hosting, they had the modeling troops. I'm like, oh, I'm coming here. Get to college, boom. That's how I got the college story. I didn't get a degree in journalism though. I was a mass comm major, but when I was in mass comm for like maybe like a month, and I just felt like, because I've always been kind of like annoying a little bit, like where, you know, I'm teaching myself stuff. I'm very like tech savvy. I used to like create people's MySpace pages. I've always been like that. Like, so for me, I felt like the mass comm program at the time at Delaware State University, it's a lot more advanced now. This was in 2010. I felt like it wasn't going to put me where I needed it to be, because just the things that we were learning in class, I'm like, this is not what the girls in New York that work at InStyle magazine are learning every day. There's no way. Like, it was just so antiquated to me. So I Googled what degree outside of what degree that is not mass comm can get you a job in mass comm. I literally Googled that sentence, and marketing was the first thing that popped up. And then I Googled how much do you make with a marketing degree, and then I Googled how much do you make with a mass comm degree. I looked at the difference, starting salaries, and I said, oh, marketing it is. Because I knew like this was going to take time and I was going to have to work in the meantime. So I switched over to marketing, and I got my degree, a bachelor's in business administration with a concentration in marketing. But while I was in college, you would have never known I was in mass comm. I was doing everything. I was even going to some of the conferences and the job fairs that the mass comm students was going to. That's how I met my big sis, Kara, who hooked me up with my first entertainment job. I was working as a project accessories coordinator, started out as a PA, a production assistant, and they just needed somebody that knew fashion that could organize. They threw me in a fashion closet, and I was like, okay, bet. So that was like my first job and my first time seeing people make money working in television and anything related to media and like this whole thing. And it was such a big motivator. I went back. People thought I wasn't coming back to school because the job, I could have continued with that production company and like the production, jumping show to show. But I was like, nah, I need my degree. I came back and I was like, I think from there I was able to identify like, okay, I don't need a degree in journalism to work in this field, but here are the things that I need to really sit down and hone in on. And a big part of that is what I'm here to talk about today. Like, I think people think you have to have this degree, and I don't know why people are so stuck on that, because I've never been in a job interview and I've never gotten a job in journalism or anything close to it where they've asked to see my degree or even asked what my degree was. They've always asked, what was my experience? Where have I worked? In real life, what did I learn how to do? And one of the biggest things that I always tell people when they ask me about working at TMZ is like, TMZ was literally like, I wanted to go and get my master's. It was the master's program that I could have never dreamed. Like, I could have never imagined that would be where I was for those 8 years. But literally, it was the master's program that I needed. There are certain things as a journalist that I think are lost art today, that the girls that get it, but those are not always the girls that get the flowers for it. And their content might not always be going viral and things of that nature because it's not salacious, it's not the most extreme all the time. It's very factual, it's very punctual, it's very, you know what I mean, to the point. And a lot of those girls too work at outlets where like you might not know who they are, but you know the stories that they're working on, the stories they're breaking and stuff like that. But it's needed because we have so many social media platforms right now where you can get online and anybody's a source, anybody is a storyteller, whatever. But there's a heavy legal consequence that comes with stuff like that. And also too, I just think that people are getting online and repeating what they're seeing. Like even the trend of like making TikTok videos reacting to things, like, and I've done them as well too, but what I do on behind the scenes is what a lot of people don't get to see. And I'm going to be showing you guys more of that here. So make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel. Because I don't know, I think for us especially, and this is for anybody, black journalists, white journalists, purple journalists, but especially for black journalists, I think I've always felt like we are such good storytellers naturally that there's no reason why there shouldn't be super high level media outlets that are breaking exclusive news and controlling and leading the conversation. Like when you think about TMZ and what they do, when you think about Wendy Williams and what she was known for, Wendy led the conversation. TMZ leads the conversation. I'm always aiming to lead the conversation. Like I want to be able to tell you what happened next first, but not even just first. I want to do it in a timely manner, and I want to do it in a very clean, concise, won't get me sued for defamation manner, right? And I never understood why there weren't more black outlets doing that. Like when I used to be at TMZ, I used to be like, yo, like majority of what's making this place keeping lights on, a lot of it is us. It's our stuff. But we can't seem to tell our stories in a way that leads and is factual and is vetted to sustain real business. And that's such a big part of it. It's like when you look at a place like the Shade Room has built and become a vehicle because not only are they telling our stories, but they've outlasted in business in a lot of other outlets. They weren't the first people to get on Instagram and start telling news. Or the first people to do it anyway in our world. Like y'all, we had the media takeouts, we had the biceps. Baller Alert was one of the first, outlets I remember seeing on Instagram. You know what I mean? But the Shade Room has done a really good job of structuring their business. They don't censor in exclusives, but they do really good business in how they report and what they report. And you might not agree with me fully, but there is a rhyme and a rhythm to it. Yeah, so that always was just like something on my mind. I'm like, I would love to start something where I can like talk to us because, man, the way these outlets, they running it up, the traction, everything off of our news, our stories, and we not even involved. You know what I mean? Like we're not, because we triggering ourselves out of our spots because we want to get online and be what we think we're seeing. And I'm not just saying this because there are white reporters and bloggers and tabloid people that do it as well too. But I'm talking to us because I only know what it's like to be us. There should be more. So when I think about like, with me not being a journalist, with me not going to school for journalism, I really can't tell you what it is I didn't get because I never experienced. I didn't even go to a real class for journalism. I was in like an entry level class and I switched out. But I will tell you, and being in the boot camp, the master's program that was TMZ for me, one of the things that I learned is really how to take an idea. So like, okay, I'm sitting in a newsroom and I'll be like, okay, this book is blue. This book is blue. It's a Crestor rovastatin calcium. This is a book from my mom's like hospital stuff, right? And I'll be like, wow. Everywhere I go, I see these books. Every single hospital I'm in, I see these books. And that just started about a week ago when I saw this book sitting on, I don't know, I'm making this up, it's hypothetical, Kevin Hart's desk when he took a picture with it. It's so easy for me to be like, let me reach out to this company and see what date did y'all start selling these books like crazy like that? And what date did Kevin Hart post that picture? And then boom. Would you say that, I don't know, your sales spiked 90% once he posted that photo? Bet. Yes. Now you have a source, which is that company. Now you have a story, which is the fact that him posting a picture sold this book, I don't know, 200, sales spiked 200%. I don't know what the number would be, right? And then you're the first person to tell the story because who else thought to look at this book sitting on a desk and go out into the world and realize that you keep seeing this book over and over and over again, besides someone who's trained to think in angles. The biggest lesson I learned being in a newsroom was angles and really understanding, like, if somebody's talking about something, how can you get in on the conversation? It's just like being at happy hour. That's how I think about journalism. Like, when I'm reporting, it's like I want y'all to feel like, oh, I'm just having drinks with my homegirl. She running down was tea. You know what I mean? Whether it's a serious story, a world news story, politics, sports, whatever, right? When I'm thinking about what people want to know, I'm like, if I was to go to happy hour and the top 3 stories I saw on Twitter today came up in the conversation, what questions are people going to ask next? It's such a simple math to all of this. I do think, though, that vetting sources, that's where people get really, really messed up. Like really, really, really messed up. And I think defining what a source is. People will talk to anybody today and be like, oh, I have a source. Not me. I want to talk to an official rep of the person, the brand, or the place. I want to talk to, if I can talk to the person themselves, I'm always going straight to the source. I'm always going straight to the person themselves. That's the best source, right? But that's why y'all always see me like reading statements. And give me a statement. Let me put this on record from you. Let the people know it came from you. But when there's just, I don't know, it's little things that you literally learn over time. I would recommend anybody that does not have a journalism degree that is trying to do this, even if you don't want to work for a company, and you want to be based on social media, or you want to do it on a stream or whatever, go and work for a company. Get at least a year in with a company. There are things, if you do not have a journalism degree, even if you degree or not, you should get that. But if you do not have a degree, definitely. And I don't even know what they're teaching in schools about journalism and breaking stories and news and how they're teaching it. Everyone should get in a newsroom. The newsroom is the best training that you can get. And I don't care whether it's local news, entertainment news, LA, Oklahoma, Philly, wherever. Like, get in a newsroom. Man, the way that I am able to, I can sit in a room right now. I do it at Breakfast Club. Like, there are times where y'all will see me on my computer typing as they're talking, as I might throw the topic out. I may be leading the conversation, but when Charlotte and Envy are going, whatever, I'm sitting down writing something, because something they said, a question that they had that I might not have thought of, made me think, okay, that's a story. If they want to know that, the world probably wants to know that. My way of thinking, I was already here naturally. And I think that that's the thing too. There's a natural knack to this that people don't talk enough about, but I can't teach a natural knack. But my way of thinking and being able to take people's different experiences, their different interests, everything, and turning it into, this can be news, it sharpened like no other when I did, I was gonna say when I did time in a newsroom, because that's what it felt like sometimes. But the time that I spent in that newsroom. So, you know, my suggestion to anybody that wants to be a journalist, whether you want to work for an outlet or you really want to, you know, just do it how people are doing it now, where they're streaming, they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, whatever, is go get some real life experience though. Like, I would suggest for anybody to do at least 6 months to a year, really a year, in a newsroom. You will learn so much. It just about like even legalities. Like, it's certain stories I'm not even touching. You won't even hear it come out of my mouth. Allegedly, like nothing. I don't even care unless there's certain things surrounding the claims, police reports, documents, like filed with the court. And not just documents, but actual, because that's another thing too. Like, sometimes I see people reporting from documents that have not even been filed. I'm like, you know how much of a like liability that could be if that never gets filed? Because also too, you can file certain things, like you can claim certain things in a court, a judge, police department, you know what I mean, state attorney. People can say, no, this is ridiculous, we're not taking this. You know what I mean? Civil suits are a bit different. Civil suits are definitely a bit different, but yeah, it's certain stuff you just won't even see me touch. And again, being in the newsroom, and when the best thing you could ever do, people be like, I want to be a journalist, I want to work in media, I don't want to work a boring job. The best thing you could do for yourself, if you want to work in entertainment and you want to come in knowing how to protect yourself, is work for a corporation. Go work for a corporation that's really out here building and getting money and got anything to protect. I promise you, you will learn so much about how you should approach your journalism career. Because the way that they legally protect their money, their brand, their name, if more people did that online today, you know what I mean, these people that are just reporting these stories, things would be a lot different. There'll be a lot less fake news, right? So yeah, that's my little spiel about not having a journalism degree. I didn't take any questions. I don't know if you guys asked any questions at all. There are some questions in here. I can't wait to watch this makeup off. No, they didn't ask any relevant questions. So yeah, that's my little spiel. And I would also tell people, start now. Like, you don't need a journalism degree to get a camera, or not even a camera nowadays. Use your iPhone, get a little mic, get a little tiny mic, and just get out there in whatever your niche is or whatever your topic area. Like, my topic area is entertainment news, right? So maybe you want to talk to moms that have went through postpartum, or maybe you want to talk to dog lovers who adopt pets for a living. Go talk to them. Create a segment. Get in front of the camera. Get used to talking to people, having conversations with people, finding out what's next. Like, what is the next story? What is the question that the world will probably have, and how can you go find the answer to that? This is a game of repetition. This is literally a game of repetition. The more you do it, the better at it you'll get, honestly. So I'm signing out now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm Loren LoRosa once again. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Subscribe. I know if you're here, you're probably subscribed, but if not, make sure you do it. Share this video with a friend if they need some encouragement about the fact that they want to get into journalism and they don't have the degree. They want to hear my story. Drop some questions below. Things y'all want to hear about below. Yeah, I'm Loren LoRosa on Instagram. Loren LoRosa _iconic on TikTok. Loren LoRosa on Twitter. And I'm always breaking news there. You guys can catch me right now on The Breakfast Club, filling in for Jess, who's out on maternity leave, being a mamiana. Have a good night, y'all. I'm out. I'm tired. Got to be up in the morning. Content day is done, down, over with. Yeah, I'm out of here. How do I stop it, though? Oh, it's right here.